2024 is the year of the OLED. MSI has two brand new OLED displays that I thought you guys might find interesting. The 321 URX qd-oled and the 271 QRX qd-oled. Let's take a look at both of these new OLED panels, but before that, here's a word from today's video sponsor.
This video is brought to you by Thermaltake and their brand new Tower 300 MATX case. The Thermaltake Tower 300 features incredible liquid cooling support for radiators up to 420mm and multiple 140mm fan support all over the case. Not only that, the Tower 300 allows you to stand the case up in a tower configuration or lay it down on its side with the optional stand. The Thermaltake Tower 300 comes in lots of different colours to suit your vibe. Build your next MATX system in style with the Thermaltake Tower 300. To find out more about the Thermaltake Tower 300, click the link in the description. Back to you, Nick.
I've been rotating between these two panels for the last few weeks to see if they're any good, and for me, it's been about choosing a panel that I would be happy to switch to for my own gaming setup. I've been using the same panel for gaming since about 2020, and I feel like with all these new OLED panels, it's time to treat myself and give myself a little bit of an upgrade. As far as the specs go for both, the 321 URX features a 32-inch 3840 by 2160 quantum dot OLED panel, and the 271 QRX features a 27-inch 2560 by 1440 quantum dot OLED panel. The main difference between both of these panels, other than the size, are the refresh rates and the resolutions, but a lot of the stuff under the hood for both of these panels is the same. The 321 URX is a 240Hz panel, and the 271 QRX is a 360Hz OLED. Crazy, right? We're getting fast. Both of these panels feature a glossy screen surface with a 0.03 millisecond gray-to-gray response time. Both panels support adaptive sync and should work with consoles that feature variable refresh rates and with things like FreeSync and G-Sync. The 321 URX and the 271 QRX are both 10-bit panels. Both of these panels support 138% of the sRGB color space, 99% of the DCI-P3 color space, and between 97 and 98% of the Adobe RGB color space. Both of these panels also have a 178-degree wide viewing angle. Both panels have standard 100mm VESA mounting on the rear. If you're looking at mounting either of these panels to an existing solution that you may or may not already have, they should work fine. You're not going to have any problems with that. So if you've got like monitor arms that you clamp to the desk, or even if you want to wall mount it, most of the solutions should be fine. The included stand is fully height, tilt, swivel, and rotation adjustable. And the stands for both of these panels are exactly the same, which is kind of something that I'm going to talk about as well, because it is interesting. As far as connectivity with both of these panels, they're jam-packed. They have the same connectivity. They both feature two HDMI 2.1 ports, a single DisplayPort 1.4a port, a USB Type-C port that can be used as DisplayPort with 90-watt PD charging. They've got a single headphone output, one USB Type-B uplink port, and two USB Type-A ports. Both of these monitors have an internal KVM that allows up to two devices or computers to be connected to them, and it allows you to share the peripherals between the computers or devices connected to your monitor. Now, KVMs are becoming a bit of a standard now, and to be honest, I'm glad, because the KVM feature, even in the panel that I've got sitting here right now, I'm using it. Something I use a lot on all of my monitors now. I don't know, it just became a thing, and now it's a thing that I use, right? The out-of-the-box calibration for both of these panels is excellent. You don't need to adjust too many settings here. Right out of the box, you're good to go. There is some stuff to keep in mind though. Because these are OLED panels, they do have built-in panel protection. MSI calls this MSI OLED Care. They've got a range of different things to help protect the panel, like setting the pixel shift, and they've got protection notices that will say, hey, turn your screen off, or like do something. They've got static screen detection as well, which is a very important one, especially for the taskbar and stuff like that. Because we're not filming for very long for this part of the video, it's no problem, we can leave it like that. But anything longer than that, I would start to get concerned. But the best prevention for any OLED burn-in is, if you're not using the panel, just turn it off. Don't leave it on with static images. MSI also has a 3-year burn-in warranty for these panels as well, so that's something good that they can't include in software. So that's a physical warranty. Basically, MSI is saying that you know, just in case something goes wrong in 3 years, we got you, right? And I think a lot of the monitor manufacturers are doing this with their OLED panels now, which is nice. The build quality on both of these panels is pretty excellent. It's hard to argue with MSI's execution here because these feel very premium and you shouldn't have any issues with the build quality. I feel like MSI's kind of toned down their gamery aesthetic and I like it, right? It's nice. Just give me a monitor with a nice silver chin on the bottom and I'm a happy lad. These new panels look really sleek. The panel itself is very thin, so if you're moving it around or trying to pick it up by the panel, I'd be very, very careful. If you haven't handled an OLED panel before, this can be a bit scary, but just be a bit more careful, it's okay. You'll also notice there's a large box on the back of each of these panels that contain all the hardware to drive the panels. And as mentioned, the monitor stand for both of these is exactly the same because the box on both of these panels is exactly the same. Because OLED panels generate quite a bit more heat than traditional panels, some OLED panels will have fans and a heatsink to cool down the components, but MSI opted for a fanless solution here. Both the 271 QRX and the 321 URX are passively cooled with large heatsinks. They're talking about some graphene thing that they've done, but basically, like, they're cool, right? They're cool. Both of these panels have a little nub style joystick on the back of the screen in the center for the menu system. Usually MSI panels will do it on the side, but like I said, the box is in the middle. It's really easy to use the menu system. Actually, I think it's better than they usually have. And MSI monitors have been getting better at this over time. However, there is software control like most MSI panels. And basically all monitors have software control now. You can reassign the joystick for that little nub as well to get quick access to features that you'll use a lot. Like let's say a KVM feature, or there's like some other feature that you use a lot, like the volume you can change. Now, because this is an OLED panel, it has one of the most important features ever that some monitors don't have a dedicated button for, but it's got its own power button, and that's right next to that little navigation nub joystick thing on the back of the panel. Right, power buttons for OLED panels are very important. That kind of leads me into the next thing with these panels, 4K 120Hz with HDMI 2.1. On both consoles, it sounds weird, but even the 1440p panel supports 4K. Now, I don't currently have access to an Xbox for testing, but the PS5 works beautifully with both of these panels. Keep in mind though, like I mentioned, the 271 QRX does support 4K mode, but it is not a 4K panel. Most of these new panels, especially the 1440p ones, have this because then you can select the 4K mode, and essentially what it's doing is it's tricking the console into thinking it's got a 4K monitor connected, you know, in Windows and Mac OS. It also reports the QRX as being a 4K panel, but it's not. And if you do it in Windows and Mac OS, it looks pretty bad if you do it in 4K mode, but recommended 1440p. For gaming on PC though, if you don't know, I'm a very sweaty COD player. I spent some time playing COD on both of these panels, and it's easy for me to say this, they're both pretty next level. The colors are excellent. The HDR experience is on point. It's close to the experience that you'll find with an OLED TV. Well, I would say it's even better than an OLED TV because you've got the bonus of having DisplayPort and you're not just limited to HDMI, and you've got a KVM. Monitors are better than TVs for gaming, guys. That's just how it is. I don't care what you say. Now, I did try and use the AI features on the 321 URX, but I couldn't get it to do anything. It's like some game or AI vision or whatever. Maybe I didn't do it right, but I did set it up and I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. Like it didn't highlight enemies or whatever they showed on their keynote. But I don't care about that stuff. I just want a good panel because overall, to be honest, after gaming on this thing and gaming on this one, it's going to be hard to use anything else. And I feel like a lot of people after using either of these panels are going to feel the same way because they're quite simply to make this easy to understand, they're miles ahead of what any other panel that you'll see out there. It's pretty hard to go wrong with an OLED panel like this. I think at times they can be a bit overrated, but I can't say that about either of these panels because they are spectacularly good, like very, very good. If I sit back and think about if there's anything that I don't like about these panels, there's nothing that I don't like about either of these. Well, at least there's nothing that's a deal breaker because they are quite expensive, but we'll come back to that. They both do everything you'd expect them to do. Everything looks really good. And I didn't think I could fall in love with another monitor, but here we are again. And what do I even mean by that? Well, I'm only falling in love with one of them because the real question is, which one out of these two would I pick if I had to switch? Because this is kind of the point of this exercise for me too. I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? This is purely based on my opinion without pricing being a factor because I have both of these panels here. We'll come back to pricing again though because it's definitely a thing. Okay, if I had to choose, I'm getting a little drum roll on here. 321 URX. You guys already knew that, and here's why. First of all, the difference between 240 Hz and 360 Hz is kind of noticeable, but not enough for it to matter or for me to care. Next up is the size. Generally, I like them big. I like bigger panels, guys. Again, I know you're sacrificing that 360 Hz refresh rate, but honestly, it doesn't bother me too much. I game at 144 Hz on a 43-inch panel, which I'm very used to, and I think after using this thing, I can go down to a 32-inch, no problem, and I'm not feeling like I'm losing out on anything. The extra size on the 43-inch is nice, but this panel just looks better, and I think I might be switching to this panel very soon. I don't know yet, like, to be honest, yeah, it just suits me a little bit better than a 27-inch panel. And the last thing is, I'm a 4K gamer. For me, personally, anything less than 4K is unacceptable.
Unacceptable! Unacceptable!
Not really. 1440p at 360 Hz is pretty insane, especially because at 1440p, we're becoming more CPU bound, so we're actually being able to make all of those frames, right? You can be 360 Hz, but you got to be able to make the frames and display the frames. So it is pretty cool if you're a sweaty gamer. Regardless of which one of these panels you're going to pick, right, you're going to get great calibration, you're going to get great performance, you're going to get great color reproduction. It's OLED. Having monitors like this now are simply game-changing in terms of visual fidelity. If I did have a single concern, it's the same one you're thinking about, and it's the fact that it's OLED and you need to take a bit more care when using these panels. But the same could be said for CRT panels too, right? Now, OLEDs are in whatever generation it is of panels, and they're a lot better than they used to be, but it is something that's kind of in the back of your mind all the time. It's kind of like when you build a custom water-cooled PC, you're always thinking about that, even though it's not gonna leak. Now, if you're interested in the price of either of these panels, they don't come cheap. For the MSI 271 QRX QD OLED, you're looking at around about $999 US or around 1,799 Aussie dollars for a 1440p screen. Pretty crazy, right? And if you're interested in the 321 URX QD OLED, you're looking at around about $1199 USD or around 2,199 Aussie dollars at the time of filming this. Whoa, that's expensive.
Wow.
But it's one of the cheaper ones, to be honest. With saying that, compared to any other panels in this category of panel, not being OLED, it's insane. But again, that's the going rate for OLED panels. The price may seem high, but the quality is light years ahead of anything else MSI has released before. I'm talking like, they haven't even made anything that comes close to these panels. As usual with monitors in this price range, we get the same comments from people that are like, hey, if you want an OLED, why don't you just buy an LG OLED TV? No, you're wrong. You're so wrong. A monitor and a TV are two different devices. Believe it or not, they both show pictures, but DisplayPort is so important for gaming, and just even with content creation and you wanting to use this in a professional setting, DisplayPort is what makes these monitors good. The ability for you to just turn off the monitor when your computer turns off is nice too. TVs kind of do it, but they're not monitors. LG OLEDs are good, but they're not good monitors. Also, not everyone wants a huge ass TV on their desk unless you're me. But I think 32-inch might be the new normal for me. I also wanted to add though, like, we keep our monitor content nice and easy to digest and kind of lighthearted for those people who might not understand what all of the specs and everything means with the monitor and calibration and all this stuff. Sure, we could do that, but we've got monitors unboxed to do that. We don't want to be treading on their toes. I want to let you guys know what it's like to use these for like a few weeks. Like that's my thing. Like I get a panel, it sits there and I use it for 2 to 4 weeks to let you know if it's any good. And like that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. If you like this video, you didn't, whatever, like and subscribe. Please, please, please subscribe. We need all of you out here. Like the video. Liking's better. Don't even subscribe. Just like the video. And let us know what you guys think about these new MSI OLED panels. Like I said, they are light years ahead of whatever MSI was doing before. Even the curved OLED they had last year, yeah. Watch one of these up here, or don't. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You pick, we seek, and 2024 baby, year of the OLED. Plenty more OLEDs to smash through. Or maybe let's not smash any more monitors. We've done enough of that over the years. Oh, thanks for watching.